Hey, folks, welcome back to our all-day coverage of Godzilla vs. Kong. Right now, we're going into the post-show presented to you by Showcase Cinema Deluxe. Ty and Justice have just finished a movie. I just got home. I finished a movie. We have a lot to talk about. Just some quick reminders. Make sure if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. If you're interested in becoming a patron, descriptions are in the links are in the description below on how to become a patron. But let's get right into it. I know the guys are excited. I know I'm excited. Let's bring in Justice and Ty. They are live at Showcase Cinema Deluxe in Dedham. Hey guys, welcome back.
Welcome. What'd you think? What?
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I knew I was going to have fun, but I actually liked almost all of it. I think this might be better than all of the other three.
Yeah, as far as action goes, I mean, it was balls to the wall the entire time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
With the exception of maybe the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Godzilla pretty much shows up right from jump.
Right from the jump.
He's not playing nothing.
No, he's really not. And I just want to go out there and say, Team Godzilla, I called it, baby. Take that W real quick.
I think before the movie started, I thought like maybe there'll be too much talking. Nope. There's just enough talking and just enough action. And there's a lot of action in this movie.
If I'm being honest, I still like King of the Monsters more.
Ooh.
I love King Ghidorah. I really do. I love him. And watching them absolutely decimate Boston you can't top that for me. I'm sorry. You just can't. It was awesome. I loved it. The end of the movie, the last thing you see is the mobile sign down by Fenway.
Yeah.
I can't beat it for
That's right. They go to
that.
So, I mean, they decimated Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Decimated.
That's like the thing, right? I love that too.
Decimate.
Like
they hit us off. They hit us off with some great camera angles. Some great just like little subtle things that I was really enjoying. A couple parts where the camera would be looking over the monster's shoulder, and then the camera would like flip up and kind of like ride. You would ride with the monster as he was getting thrown or something. I really did. I thought it was done really well.
So let me ask you guys this, right? Did you notice this? It was essentially just BBS. Hear me out. We get instead of Lex Luthor.
I told you that months ago.
Yeah, but it's so much more than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, we said that a million times beforehand, but it's so much more than I thought it was gonna be. Right? You replace Lex Luthor with Pedro Pascal, right? That guy, right? Spanish guy. Make Godzilla look like a bad guy, right? So they have an excuse to unleash their ultimate weapon, right? Kong's Batman, Godzilla Superman. It clicked. So but it still
worked. Like, here's the thing: when you watch this movie, you can kind of see where they're going, like with the story. But that's the sign of a fun, entertaining movie is that it's coming and it's still fun. You know what I mean?
That's probably the only complaint I would have. It was abundantly obvious where it was going from before we even saw the movie.
Yeah,
we knew where this was going.
But still, like I was able to enjoy the ride. Like I wasn't expecting to have my mind blown. Like, you know.
Yeah. At one point, I looked over at Justice and I said, Martha,
save Mothra.
Yeah, at the point where they become, they're not like friends, but they're working together at that point. I was like, Martha, and okay. So one of my favorite things about
do we want to get into spoilers? Just go right into spoilers.
It's a review show. I would hope.
Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, folks, spoilers.
Yeah. So when Godzilla lights up the axe for Kong, and he just destroys Mechagodzilla. That I got a giddy feeling, and like I said, this movie was meant for the big screen. It was not meant for like a TV or a phone. God forbid you're watching it on your phone like some weirdo. It was meant for the big screen.
Right.
Yeah.
And the biggest possible screen that you could possibly do. It was meant for that one.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what I like? So look, we have a human story also. And I thought so in the first one, the story of Millie Bobby Brown's character, her name is Madison, her mom and dad, I would kind of get pulled out of a little bit. But this one, I liked it. I thought she was great. Madison was great. The Millie Bobby Brown character, the whole side story was great with the kid from Deadpool.
Yeah.
His name is Josh. I thought he was great. I thought the human story worked better. I know, Justice, you said you like King of the Monsters more. I thought it worked better in this one.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown was terrible. I hated her.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of the kid from Deadpool either. I don't know his name, the actor, but dude, Bernie, the black dude that worked for Apex, he was the one who had the podcast and stuff. He was cool. I liked him.
Yeah.
I liked the Kong side of the human story, right?
Okay, yeah, that was more
kind of
interesting.
like Godzilla side of things, right? That was like his human part of it, and then Kong's human part of it was the little girl and Alexander Skarsgård, and that was okay.
Yeah.
But see, sometimes I wish some of the Skull Island people were still there, like the actual like cast. Military team and cast. Like they were like the best parts of Skull Island.
That was the best, by far the best cast out of any of these movies was Skull
Island.
By far.
And you knew that they weren't coming back. I mean, it was in the past.
Yeah.
But so I had a hard time for a couple minutes during the movie. She says the mother of the girl says, "I've been on this island for 10 years studying Kong."
Yeah.
And it really didn't hit me that so many years have passed since Skull Island. Because I was like, wait, there's no way. There's no way she's been on that island for 10 years. They just discovered it as humans. Yeah. And I really, even for me, I was like, oh, wait, it takes place in like the 70s.
Yeah.
It takes place.
They should have at least mentioned that, because Godzilla and King of Monsters takes place recently.
Yeah.
But Skull Island takes place decades ago. They should have probably, like, you're right, because even when I heard that, I'm like, she's in here for 10 years. Then like it took me a second. I'm like, wait, that was the 70s.
Threw me off for like a couple minutes, and I was like, oh wait, okay, all right. And then I was like, okay, I'm just an idiot. Like, I'll move on.
That'd be a cool prequel.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how they set all of that up around.
Yeah, because they say cool. So was the containment center on Skull Island?
Yes.
Because they say somewhere on Skull Island.
Yeah.
And it looks like Skull Island, but it's a.
It is. They had mentioned something about a storm taking over Skull Island, and that's why the little girl's the only one left of the indigenous people.
Yeah.
So that storm, that's why it was always raining outside of the containment. And I guess for whatever reason, they thought, oh, we'll build a thing around Kong so the storm doesn't kill him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he could survive in the storm. They built that so
Godzilla wouldn't kill him.
Oh, yeah. True. Yeah. Okay. But I don't see... Like, why wouldn't it have from what I can tell, Godzilla and Kong have been there the entire time. Godzilla just kind of woke up in the 50s. So why hasn't he shown up already? You know what I mean? I don't know why they're building a containment thing now.
I think it may be because of, so Godzilla's been around. He disappears. He comes back in the 2014 movie. Then he comes back in the 2016-17 movie. So now they're worried because they mention the mythological glyphs, and they kind of show this. Remember, Ty, you're talking about the Monarch file?
Yeah.
They showed in the opening credits that there are like hieroglyphs that ancient people made of Godzilla fighting Kong.
Yeah.
So I think maybe now they're kind of worried, like, okay, what if these two fight again? We got to keep them separate because now Godzilla is back in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it is.
As I was saying it, I kind of put it together because that opening scene where it was like, it showed all the monsters and it was like, defeated on each side. They were like showing us their like.
I kind of liked that intro.
Loved it.
I thought that intro was great.
I thought it was awesome. I loved it.
So how did you like the intro? Because it really was like a big screen intro. Because like the way it looked was really like
it was cool. It was really
cinematic in the sense, every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And so did they show any trailers at your theater?
They just same stuff that we've seen, like Black Widow. I was hoping for Suicide Squad. We didn't get that. Conjuring, stuff like that. What did you guys get?
We did get a new Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the same one that they debuted the other day, and so that's why I wanted to know.
Yeah. I don't think they can. They can't show a Red Band trailer on a PG-13 movie, right?
They can.
They can.
They can.
Oh, okay.
In certain circumstances, they can.
Yeah.
But because PG-13, you have to. You basically you're old enough.
Yeah.
But you should be accompanied by a parent.
Right.
Rated R is like.
You just go.
You go when you're old enough, or you don't really go at all unless your parent brings you, and like, it's like that. But they can show Red Band trailers for PG-13 movies, but it's very few and far in between.
Yeah, because I saw a lot of kids. That jacket's dope. Look at his jacket. It says Wakanda on it. That's dope. That's a really cool jacket. they said I saw a lot of children, so that's probably why they gave us a more PG-13 kind of trailer for Suicide
Probably.
Squad. But the trailer was dope, and I'm excited for that movie too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And back to the whole thing. So the Suicide Squad by James Gunn is definitely shaping up to be a sequel.
Right.
Okay.
It's
Good.
a
Good.
direct sequel.
Oh yeah.
And Starro. I think, and I had said that to you, and we'll talk about it now a little bit. Do you think it's a good idea to use Starro? Because I mean, Justice League's first villain is Starro, right? So Starro's kind of a jokey villain. Like he's actually pretty powerful, but
he's like a big deal.
He's a jokey villain, like in the sense that he's a giant starfish.
Yeah.
But I think it's smart for the Suicide Squad to use him. I do, because the Suicide Squad is very lighthearted in nature. So why not use like a jokey character?
Exactly. And you just said what I was going to say. Like, it's hard to do that character seriously on the big screen, but with a movie like the Suicide Squad, where you're expecting the ridiculous, it works. Like when I first saw Star in the trailer, I was like, oh, Starro. But if he were to show up in Justice League, I'd be like, oh, that's your villain. You know what I mean?
If you were to show up in Batman v Superman, you just wouldn't have a place in that movie.
Exactly.
The tone, the what's actually happening around him, like, it wouldn't make sense. But to show up in the Suicide Squad with like Polka Dot Man, it kind of makes a little bit
exactly.
to recollect.
A big problem with the first one was the fact that the main villain was Enchantress, and she was like powerful enough to destroy the planet and like flip it inside out with a snap of her fingers. Starro is on that same exact level, so they're just kind of repeating that issue. I could definitely see Starro working in even a Zack Snyder's kind of Justice League. You just don't use giant Starro, right? You use the little version of him, the little mind control version of Starro, right? The little small one. I could see him working in that. I mean,
or even an Aquaman. Like if that were to show up in Aquaman, even though he's from space, it looks like a sea thing. Like, I think that could work.
I don't think James Gunn is going to use like Starro, right? Like full power Starro. He'll just literally be a giant starfish in this movie. You know what I mean? Minus all the superpowers.
Yeah, so guys, let us know in the comments what you thought of Godzilla vs. Kong, and if you're excited for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I know I am. We get some cool Harley shots. But back over to
we talk about Mechagodzilla now?
Yeah. So
I've been waiting.
Kind of an underutilized, unless they bring him back somehow.
Which they will, because Mechagodzilla has like 3 different forms.
Okay.
Like he gets destroyed, and then they rebuild him better. He gets destroyed again, and then they rebuild.
So they could potentially use him for like 18 other movies.
Exactly. And then at some point, aliens come into play, and then they rebuild him, and then it's like this whole thing.
Oh, I think there might have been some alien nods in this movie.
I saw some stuff like that too, Jack.
When they enter, so when Millie Bobby Brown's character, Madison, Josh, and Bernie, I wrote these down. When they enter the first facility in America, they say it has been transferred to Roswell, New Mexico. I'm like, oh. And then in the second half of the film, when Kong gets to the Hollow Earth, you kind of see these monoliths. I'm like, I don't think Kong built that. I don't think, his people built that. I think maybe an ancient civilization might have come. And, that's very common. The idea of ancient aliens might have visited these creatures, or at least done something. Who set up those monoliths? Because when he sits down in his throne, they're monoliths. So I don't know if that's setting up something else. I don't think they threw Roswell, New Mexico in as for whatever.
Right. Yeah, I got that vibe too, but from a completely different side of it. I got the alien vibe from the type of tech Apex was using. For example, those ships that they used to fly to Hollow Earth looks like old school Godzilla. Like, color palette wise and design.
Are you talking about the heave, what do they call it? The heave, the HEAV. You're talking about that floating kind of like spaceship they use?
Earth vehicle something.
Something. So
but
Hollow Earth aerial vehicle. Heave.
Aerial vehicle. So I think that, all right, what's the next step, right? So in your logically, right, what's the next step? We've had your introduction to the Monsterverse with 2014's Godzilla. Then we get Kong Skull Island, introduction to Kong and that side of it. And then we get King of Monsters, which is, a full-blown monster movie. And now we're here, right? Like Justice said earlier, this is kind of like the end of phase 1. Right. All the intros are over, and we get like a little bit of a team up, I guess.
Team up movie. Absolutely.
But where do we go from here? Well, I think the alien thing would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool too. I think their best bet is to move away from Godzilla and Kong for a while. Like I said, use an Ultraman, use a Mothra, use somebody new, start fresh, keep it fresh, new, and exciting. Step away from them for a while, bring them back. You know, you mention them, right? Hey, they're still here. Don't worry, they'll come back eventually. Yeah. But you don't want to do another feature length with starring one of them.
Justice, do you know anything about Mecha King Ghidorah?
Yes,
that's what Jack's talking about.
I'm kind of hoping he was going to show up today.
Ah, okay.
So Ghidorah.
Yeah, so they kind of just rebuild the middle head, and they just kind of bring him back to life.
Oh, okay. So they use use like the Mecha Godzilla tech.
Right, but I'm pretty sure aliens do that to Ghidorah. I don't remember. They said aliens though.
All right, yeah. So there's a lot of different ways we could take this at this point. Right. So it doesn't have to end here.
Right. No, not at all.
There's so many more stories that could be told.
Yeah. But I do think it's interesting. I don't know about you guys. I stayed for the credits. I didn't see a post-credit scene. This is kind of like
there was no post-credit scene. The only thing we got was like a screech from Godzilla, which we usually get at the end of any of these movies.
Right.
If you've noticed, at the end of every single movie, Godzilla roars.
So I guess that's their way of saying, hey,
he'll be back.
Yeah. Instead of a post-credit scene, but we've gotten those before with them. So that doesn't work.
Yeah. So I think the door is open for them. They're probably going to see how this will do, and I think this will do well. It's an entertaining film. It's exactly what you want it to be. They could do whatever, and I kind of like Justice's idea. Maybe move away from Godzilla versus Kong. You don't want to overdo it, and introduce new creatures and new tech and stuff like that.
And we don't have to. We couldn't. You think people would be mad if they like created their own monster or something? Like a completely brand new monster.
The studio. I personally wouldn't be mad as long as.
No, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, maybe
universe
like
build
hybrid alien thing that.
Ooh,
because we know that. All right, so and you guys have mentioned alien nods, but we already know that Ghidorah wasn't a Titan.
Right.
Ghidorah was an alien.
Right.
Straight up. Alien.
Yeah.
He was not a Titan.
Right.
So he's from somewhere else, right?
So there's like this whole, if I remember correctly, there's this like whole race that worships the same way we kind of work with Godzilla. They work with King Ghidorah. They just straight up worship him. And if I remember correctly, back in the day, the whole thing was they sent Ghidorah down to like take over Earth, and then
take the Titans, right?
Yeah, he's gonna wipe out everything. They're gonna move in and take all the resources and take over Earth, whatever. But that doesn't work. Blah blah. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong about that.
Okay. So what did you guys think? Oh, go ahead.
Basically, like I said, it's almost like a comic book universe where there's many more stories to be told.
Yeah,
and
it's
just
so
many ways to tell them.
Yeah, it's just a live action anime. It really is. It really is. That if you watch any mecha animes or kaiju animes,
that's what I was thinking.
Exactly the same as this.
Especially with the Japanese character who taps into Mecha Godzilla via the skull of Monster Zero, right? And they talk about a psionic interface, right? Like, he's connected to his brain, and of course that brain takes over. I immediately thought of more recently Pacific Rim, but like, Neon Genesis, Evangelion, stuff like that,
Right, exactly. Right.
Well, here's a question. Potential ever Pacific Rim and Monsterverse crossover.
I would love it, but
I would love it.
I would love it. It just doesn't fit into what Guillermo made, right? Like if that was the case, Godzilla would have popped up already.
Like maybe like the Hollow Earth is explores the multiverse or something like that. Where
isn't Pacific Rim in the future
being slept on?
Well, it would be, yeah.
The Hollow Earth is a whole different place.
Yeah, it is.
It's a whole different place.
Yeah, I've never heard of that either.
The crabs and stuff that were standing up, I was like, ooh.
I think that's like completely original. I don't recall any such.
I like the whole storyline, the Hollow Earth storyline, because it kind of brings in some like more of the far-fetched theories and that people actually think. Like people actually think that's the Hollow Earth is real.
There's Journey to the Center of the Earth. There's a whole bunch of Land of the Lost. There's a bunch of movies and stories and stuff like that.
So the way they explored it, I like that, and I like that Kong kind of found a new home in the Hollow Earth, and who knows, is Godzilla going to end up there? Because we know he utilizes it at points.
Yeah.
So
Could you imagine a movie?
I was expecting to see something from like Apex or the Eco people, whatever, something involving Godzilla as to why he was acting the way he was, because Godzilla was on some, like, he was freaking me out. Did you notice that they did a zoom in on his face and he was smiling
straight up
after he like blew up a town,
straight up smiling,
Christ, looking like the Joker. It was terrifying.
Yeah, did you see that, Jack?
He's scared.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was because of whatever the Apex people were making. It was sending like a homing beacon to him. He was trying to find.
You're right. That's exactly what he was doing. He was trying to destroy it.
He was trying to destroy it because he saw the threat.
I said that to him right in the beginning of the movie when that all that pops off. I was like, he's trying to find. I was like, I think that's Mecha Godzilla.
Right.
And he like, you know, Godzilla knows that they're messing with him.
Right.
Or trying to do something.
Right.
You know, instinctively he comes after it.
Right.
Because they say it in the news report. It was pretty much contained to just that building. Godzilla's not that good, right?
Yeah.
He's not that good of a guy where he's gonna like, all right, that building, that one, and that one, those are mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna destroy those now.
No.
Have they ever mentioned Apex in the previous movies? I know Monarch was a big thing. Is this the first time they mentioned Apex?
Yeah, I heard, unless it was in like a subtle passing.
Yeah, which is kind of a problem because they were like a big deal for in this movie. You think you should have mentioned them at least one time, but I feel like they must have some tie to those Eco people. I feel like they.
Oh, what if they were the ones who sent them? Maybe because they're growing their own. What are they called? Skull somethings? Skull crabs?
Skull crawlers.
Skull crawlers. They're growing their own skull crawlers. So maybe they are part of that eco terrorists.
Yeah, they have to be.
Because the lead of the skull, the terrorist, he survived. The guy who was he was the lead Lannister in the Game of Thrones. I forgot what his character's name was, but he survived King of the Monsters. So we know he's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
So what if he was like corporate espionage? Yeah. So corporate espionage, maybe that wasn't eco-terrorists. Maybe they were using eco-terrorism as a cover to steal information from Monarch so they can build their own creatures, their own Mecha Godzilla. Because it looks like they've been at it for a while, building these big places.
Right.
Yeah, and it looks like Monarch, right? As an organization.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think we could potentially get something where like Captain America Winter Soldier where Monarch falls, like, you know, they've been infiltrated or something happens and because they seem like they're like too good, right? They're building containment centers, they're watching over Kong. Like when they started transporting them, like, all right, so the only problem I had was she was pretty dead set on not moving Kong. Right?
Took like 30 seconds.
Took 25-second conversation before she had. All right, let's go. All right, let's move it.
Let's go.
That's the only thing I had. Let's do it.
And sure as rain, exactly what she said would happen happened. What happened? Godzilla showed up. He wiped out everything. Though
the whole fleet.
I can't believe you people survived. Honestly, you really shouldn't have survived that. Godzilla, you guys, nobody can swim. King Kong can't swim, and Godzilla's just blowing up everything.
Yeah, I was wondering if he could swim or not. I wasn't sure.
I mean, Kong did his best to like.
Yeah, I really don't think my man can swim.
But at least they didn't do. At least they didn't do the part where Kong like could stand up in the whole ocean.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
that was hilarious. They did that in the 60s one.
That's ridiculous.
Really funny.
But like, I thought that sequence with the aircraft carriers was great, where he's tied up and he's chained, and they don't want to let him loose, and Godzilla just tearing up these massive battleships, like they're like ants. I thought that was a cool sequence.
Yeah, it was really cool. At points, I was like, I said out loud, like, let him go. I was getting mad. Let him go. I was starting to get mad when he flipped the ship over and they're underwater. Like, bro, let him out.
Yeah, and so who do you think? So what did you think of his axe?
Oh, I thought that was so cool when he takes the axe, and that connects to it because Godzilla knew what that axe was.
Yeah.
Later on, while Kong is fighting Mecha Godzilla, he like charges it up.
Yeah,
that was kind of a cool moment.
I'm pretty sure
I loved it.
One of these. I'm pretty sure that's all it was. Because there was 3 of them, and when you look at them closely, it looks just like this. I'm pretty sure it's just a broken off one of those.
You might be right. I don't know.
almost positive it is, because when Godzilla goes to shoot, the energy goes up into this. They light up blue, and then he fires out the energy. I'm positive that's what that is. I think.
Well, you're right, because isn't Godzilla originally also from this Hollow Earth? I'm guessing because the same blue energy was in the ground, whatever that was. That's what Monarch was stealing.
Godzilla is, and they say it in the 2014. Godzilla's original origin, and they say it in 2014 to like make it concrete with this universe. Godzilla was born from nuclear testing. That's where it comes from. The 50s nuclear testing. That's Godzilla's origin. And they kind of it's the opening sequence of the 2014 movie. Them doing a bunch of testing, and that's how Godzilla was born. His energy comes from.
If he was born in the 50s,
then how about the myths and stuff?
Then how would
I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. I just know Godzilla's origin.
Are we sure that there's not like some sort of family ancient like?
That's what I was thinking. At least with these movies they're doing, because you're right. In the original 1950 Godzilla, it was the nuclear testing.
Yeah.
But I think in this one they're trying to set that Godzilla's been here for tens of thousands of years, maybe hundreds of thousands of years. That's what
because we know Kong is a baby.
Yeah.
Right.
Kong's not a baby, but he's the baby of his family.
Right.
And his parents and
whole family's gone.
His whole family's dead.
Yeah.
Because of that skull crawler thing.
Mm-hmm.
The big one.
Right. Right.
And they did mention that their ancestry was at war. Not them. Not Kong and Godzilla were at war. Right. Their ancestry was at war.
Well, Godzilla could very well come from these skull crawler things.
I'd be interested to find out more about what Godzilla's origins, like his past origins were.
Yeah.
And maybe we do get more in the next film, like a little Hollow Earth, like history lesson, maybe.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That'd be kind of cool.
Maybe they could have went into that a little more.
Yeah, with a little bit of more explaining, because I mean, if we're asking these questions, I'm sure someone else is.
Right. Because you're right. It doesn't make any sense to tell us that he was birthed from the nuclear
radiation.
You have ancient wall paintings of Godzilla. It's clearly Godzilla fighting King Kong.
And if he was born in the 50s, there's no way he could possibly be the king of the monsters, because all those other monsters were
bowing to him,
hibernation for millennia.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So
something's off. I think we're missing one fact or something.
There's a missing piece. Like you said, we need a history lesson in the Hollow Earth.
Because it said Kong won't bow down to anyone, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I like how they're going with that, But I also liked how big Kong was in this. They made him really huge, and the idea is that since Skull Island, he's gotten bigger. He was massive. Because usually he climbs skyscrapers.
I liked when he popped his shoulder back in.
Loved it.
He got big after that too. He's like,
yeah, he did. He got a pump going. If you pay attention, you can see Kong slowly but surely get a pump going.
Yeah, I was like, my boy's getting
So this is the scene I was talking about that you missed when you went to the bathroom, right, Drizzle? Was Godzilla. You asked me how they get out the hole.
Yeah.
Godzilla. He's now. I don't know how he does this, but like his instinct is so like on point that he went to Hong Kong, stood in the exact spot where they were below him, charged up a blast, shot that shit down into the core of the earth, and then they crawled out of the hole. I mean, like when I say it was precisely right where King Kong was, like I'm King Kong, blast landed right here.
Wow.
How the hell did he know that? Now, mind you, there's like thousands and thousands and thousands of
layers of earth.
Yeah, in between
the two.
How the hell did you know that? And how are you strong enough to blast through it like that? Like,
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that when Kong got there and that stuff was activated, well, Mechagodzilla was also there. So Hong Kong has two things. One, Kong's throne is right underneath Hong Kong. And then also Apex is in Hong Kong. Maybe Apex. I think he was originally coming for Mechagodzilla.
As did I.
And it just so happened that that's where Kong's, I don't know if that's a coincidence or if Apex knew something and that's why they did it in Hong Kong. I don't know.
Maybe the latter seems more likely.
I mean, so I think the movie makers and the studio definitely made Hong Kong a central place.
Yeah.
Because of the history of Godzilla and
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean.
Oh, it's a Godzilla.
Yeah,
like
but Hong Kong's not in Japan. Hong Kong's in China, right?
Well, no, wasn't it always? Oh no, it's Tokyo. Yeah.
Tokyo, yeah.
Japan.
Huh.
I think part of it is they want to market it to China by showing China.
The weird thing.
They wanted to show China. So they did Tokyo. They've done San Francisco. They did Boston. I think they wanted to do it in East Asia.
Yeah.
So it sells better, maybe better in China, so that you can
Right.
see
They're just trying to hit the whole planet.
Oh, okay, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, they're just hitting the whole planet.
because they did New York in that remake
But
from
there's a lot of
'98.
significance to Hong Kong. So
Yeah.
it should be you're right. It should be Tokyo rather than Hong Kong because that's a big deal, right? Hollow Earth is directly under it. Kong's throne's right there. Mechagodzilla was birthed there. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's what
It shouldn't
I was
China.
thinking in my head, but yeah.
I'm willing to bet Japanese people are pissed about that.
Yeah, they're like,
I'm
no,
willing-
that's my
Like,
boy.
yeah, I'm willing to Japan
Those
and
are
China.
ours.
They do not get along at all. So I bet they're
Well,
bullshit right now.
So Hong Kong's actually not even part of. Technically, it's not part of China.
I've heard that before.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't know if it was true.
But China wants that back.
We want that.
Yeah.
China wants that back pretty
That's
badly.
hilarious.
So they're always like
Trying to invade.
doing some sketchy stuff. But we don't want China to take us down. So
Yeah.
China will take us down. That
But see, Hong Kong looks nice. Just seeing Kong
Oh,
grabbing these
is that
skyscrapers
right?
with neon lights.
Love
question:
it.
Are
Love
those
it.
neon lights legitimate? Like, is that how
Yeah.
Hong Kong looks?
I have no idea.
Hong Kong
Wow.
looks like that. Yeah.
That's
Nice.
beautiful.
It really
And-
is. It was. I loved it.
So in the trailer, the first trailer that we got for Godzilla vs Kong, that is in fact when I said it was Mechagodzilla, it was Mechagodzilla. When the
Yeah.
people are running down the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
you look up and it's when he's
Yep.
first busting out the mountain.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, wow, it looks really metallic, and I
Yeah.
stopped the picture and
Yeah.
showed.
Yeah.
But
Dude, I love the color. The whole second half of the movie had that
Mhm.
neon kind of color palette to it, and I loved it. It was amazing. I love that. I've always been a fan of that neon kind of color, anyways. So.
all right, so
I love that.
let's go around the table. We'll start at 12 o'clock with Jack, and give us a score out of 10. Reason why.
I would give it a good strong 7.3 out of 10 because 7.5 is like a really good movie. This hit all the spots for me. You know what I mean? It's like I was hungry. I wanted fast food. The
Right.
burgers, the fries, the milkshake hit the spot. Is it nutritious? No, but I'm satisfied. I like the action. I like the adventure. This is exactly what you're looking for. I like some of the characters as well. You mentioned Bernie, the podcast guy. I thought he was hilarious. I like the story with Kong and the little girl, by the way, which I thought was cool. And then Kong, by the way, can do in sign language. I like the idea of adding intelligence, stuff like that. I give it a strong 7.3 out of 10.
Nice.
You know what's funny is I was saying it to the showcase manager.
Mhm.
I said, and I'm gonna have to change it slightly now because I said 7.3. So I'll go 7.35 out of 10.
Okay.
Just to slightly alter so it's not the same exact thing.
Right.
But you can literally ask him. I said 7.3 out of 10. And that's a high score for a monster movie. Like Jack said, it hits all its basics. It is an entertaining movie from start to finish. And it's not just entertaining on the surface level, but also, a little deeper into the Hollow Earth. But it is a little bit more deeper in some places, and I think that was really cool. We're building a universe still. We're only 3 movies in, so we're still building a universe theoretically, and I think it hit all its points that it needed to. I think I might have brought Mechagodzilla out a little bit earlier, but I'm happy with how it turned out. I thought the color palette was good. I thought the cinematography was good. The human to monster ratio is good, which is a problem a lot of people have with these, big kaiju and Jaeger movies. Is that aspect? Like, what's the perfect ratio? Well, I think this did get it a little bit. We got enough of each that I was definitely happy.
Right.
And
I thought it was balanced.
Yeah, very balanced. Very balanced.
I went into it thinking about that because you had mentioned it beforehand. You had said about that's why Kong Skull Island's your favorite because the balance was on point, and I thought the balance here was on point. I'm gonna go with a solid 7. Real quick, something I forgot to say. That opening scene, I immediately thought of Shrek. Right, he gets up, he scratches, stretches a little bit.
What was the song? Over the mountains and across the sea by Bobby Vinton. I looked up the song with Shazam, And you're right. It was very Shrek-like. Like, you see him scratching his butt, as he's walking
I was
forward.
almost expecting Smash Mouth to start playing, but they didn't. So I was like, all right. That honestly, it was like funny, but at the same time, I was like, all right, bro, like we get it. He doesn't need to scratch his ass, right? Like that's a little crazy. King Kong doesn't need to have ass crack in this movie, but whatever. I'm gonna give it a 7 because I'm not really Mecha Godzilla did not hit it like I thought he was gonna. He's basically just an anime villain. But what I really like is Godzilla and Kong's like they actually have personality and like character traits,
That's
right?
a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Kong was the compassionate one, right? He
Mhm.
actually understands what's going on. There's things at risk. He gets it. Godzilla, on the other hand, I think he understands like the consequence and whatnot. I just don't think he does. I don't think he cares, right? And that's why I like him so much. He didn't give a shit like at all.
He has
Like,
no
he
connection
didn't
to
get the
humans,
job done.
really.
I don't care who dies. I don't care how many buildings blow up. I don't care about your stupid cities. I'm here to protect the planet, not you, right? And Godzilla was just acting like a straight savage the entire movie. I was like, all right, cool. I was very happy with that. I came into it for Godzilla, so I'm completely satisfied.
What did the Godzilla roar sound like in the X Plus? Because Ty, you were describing the sound earlier.
Yeah, and it was mighty. The whole thing with Dolby Atmos is so when you're using regular, you'll commonly hear it referred to as channels of audio, right?
Right.
So 5.1 is 5 channels of audio. 0.1 is your subwoofer, right?
Yeah.
Dolby Atmos completely did away with channel audio, and each speaker is precisely timed and individualized. So it's not channeled audio. Like your front left and front right aren't together. Like so, you know what I mean? They're 2 separate speakers at this point. So they can make an axe that flies around the building hit every single speaker in such a fashion that it sounds so clean and crisp, right?
The little test video they showed us at the beginning, it was so damn cool. They have a little clip for each individual type of audio they want to show you, right? So they'll have like a race car track, outer space scene, whatever, etc. But they would show certain scenes, and then the speakers would light up in unison with the audio.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's pretty
Godzilla's
cool.
roar it's not you're not just hearing his roar amplified by 25 speakers, you know what I mean? You're hearing it encapsulate you. And you know what I mean? A little bit of it's coming from this speaker, this speaker, this speaker. So it's surrounding you and it's hitting you all at once rather than it just being multiplied per speaker. The same noise is coming out of each speaker and it sounds louder. That doesn't mean it's better. Just because it's louder does not mean it's better. Right? Yeah. But what Dolby Atmos is what it does is it allows the speakers to work simultaneously, but do different things and incorporate different aspects of the sound. So it's allowed sound to kind of be as intricate as video. Right. You know, the color grading, you know, everything that goes into 1080p video. You know, now that you're with sound, it's just as intricate. Right. So
you know what's really cool? I love it was always a Kong scene with the little girl where they would make sound as if you were like underwater or something.
Oh yeah.
As if you were dead, and you would just hear like his heartbeat or maybe some of his breath or whatever. I thought that was really cool.
And then she heard Godzilla. I was like,
that scene.
Yeah,
that scene was dope.
There's a great scene. One of those when she's sleeping on the aircraft carrier. And there's a great visual where like she's at the edge of like she's about to go outside and you see like a waterfall almost because it's raining on the ship.
Yeah.
And she can hear and then she walks out to him because she can tell he's sad.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that was just the cinematography there. It was like the water falling and she walks into the water. There was a lot of good cinematography in this, more than I expected. Like really, well-made shots.
Right. Before we came in here, remember we were talking about how like nowadays we get like fully lit CGI fights, right? Back in the day, for the longest, we could only get CGI fights that were like at nighttime or like in a rainstorm or whatever. This movie, not only do we get like daytime fights, but we get like zoom-ins on their face. You know how many close-in shots there are of Kong in this movie? There's at least 5 or 6, and there's a couple for Godzilla too. We're getting close-up face shots of these things now. You know what I'm saying? Godzilla is not cute to look at all.
No.
At all.
But they really ramped up how scary he was in this Godzilla. Like,
yeah, dude,
he seems he always has the upper hand on Kong in every engagement.
Yeah, and what did the humans say at one point? They're like, oh, I guess round 2 goes to Kong, and then Godzilla gets up and just pummels him.
Yeah.
And puts his foot on him, and it's just like, just so you know, I'm the one who's letting you get up right now.
I loved it.
And then he doesn't get up.
I loved it. Whooped him something fierce. Ripped his arm out of his socket and some more. The only reason you're alive
scratched him. I hope the next time we see Kong, he has scarred scratches.
Oh, he did. Like that. He had the scars from the last movie too.
So he better have some Godzilla battle scars
too, right? Because Mecha took out this whole corner of his chest, right? Yeah, I love it. I love that.
But I thought
Let me ask you this.
Godzilla could have been designed a little bit better.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan either.
He was very thin.
Yeah.
Like he was a very, very small version. Like he looked like he was like he looked like definitely like a prototype, you know? So
the thing is, right, Mechagodzilla,
he was more agile though, right?
Is essentially just a garbage can on wheels, right? He's very stiff, can't move at all. All he can really do is shoot lasers out of his arms and his eyes and stuff. So I wasn't a fan of it either. I thought it looked weird, but I get why they had to do it because like his actual design just does not work in that fight scene. That would not have worked.
He was doing some cool stuff.
He was
like when his
Sengons around and shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, when his arms were like spinning and like then he would smack. Or when the rocket boosters came out and he punched Godzilla and Godzilla
him something fierce.
Yeah,
he
so he was
fierce.
Putting the smackdown on Godzilla for a little while.
Seeing them double team him was dope. That's what.
Yeah. Okay, that's your base, man.
But let me ask you this: did you think the Bernie, how do you put it, Josh and Maddie, those three? Do you think that story kind of felt a little bit? I enjoyed them, but kind of like 1 second they're in one thing, they enter a capsule, it happens to go to Hong Kong to be exactly where they needed to be.
Awfully convenient.
Yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed the banter, but yeah, it just seemed kind of like
how they found him.
Yeah. Oh, he buys bleach a lot.
They went to one store and asked for bleach, and then they had the guy.
Yeah, and then they were already at Apex.
So
I was like, I guess maybe they were like, okay, we got Millie Bobby Brown. What do we do with her? You know, like we need her to do something. You know, I feel like that's what it was.
What's her father's name? Like in actual life?
Oh, that isn't he going to be the new?
I don't know.
They didn't utilize him as much as they could have.
I think maybe people were like not too crazy about that storyline, and so he was just there just to remind you that this is a sequel.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of liked him. I did not like Millie Bobby Brown's mother.
Yeah, Vera Farmiga, yeah.
Yeah, I was all set with that.
Like when she died in Godzilla Kong of Monsters, I was like, good. That's what you get.
Die, right?
Yeah, she sacrificed herself, but it's a little too. She's like, I don't know. Like we have to destroy the Earth to make it better again. I'm like, get out of here.
Oh yeah, that is her. Yeah.
Kyle Chandler. The actor's name is Kyle Chandler, who played her dad.
Yeah, I kind of liked him, and I thought
Russell.
I thought he was going to be in it more.
Yeah.
I mean that's okay. You can't get everyone in there for these dense parts, and in a movie that's so like kind of crowded as it is already with the monsters, and they kind of have to take the limelight. The balance had to be there, and I'm glad they didn't overdo the human stuff. I would have liked to see a little bit more of Monarch doing Monarch things.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like I said, overall, I'm very pleased.
Yeah, I liked it too, and I really had very few complaints about the Kong human side. The little girl, I think her name was Jaya, and her Alexander Skarsgård, I think it's Dr. Lind or something.
Yeah, Lind.
I thought that was fine. Yeah, there was exposition and some convenience, but there has to be. Like when they actually flipped the boat. I was like, oh wow, they actually flipped their boat. I didn't realize that Kong would flip it back over and they'd be fine. But I was okay with that.
Yeah. What did you want to happen?
Well, I said, okay, is the boat gonna maybe they have to float at sea or something like that? But they actually flipped it over, and I was fine with that. I was just thinking every boat's getting destroyed except that one. Then finally that one flips. I'm like, because now the main characters are in danger. It would seem too convenient that Godzilla happens to flip every cute moment that I loved. So we have the Apex guy, his daughter, who's kind of underdeveloped. They kind of make her a villain. It feels like they needed to kill her. So as they're escaping through the hole and King Kong is in the way, they're like, shoot him. And I feel like they did that just so King Kong would crush that heave.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which is a cute moment.
She was definitely a very attractive woman.
And I was kind of hoping she survived. But there's a great moment where Kong grabs him and he just looks inside to make sure the girl's not in there and just squeezes it. He like double check to see if the girl's in there. Like, all right, nope, she's not. Boom.
That whole scene of Skarsgård and them escaping and look like an amusement park ride. Don't be surprised if you see that.
Yeah. And he apparently knew how to fly it, which whatever. I guess maybe he's a scientist. They do that in movies. Like scientists can do anything, you know.
Yeah, basically.
They're whatever the story needs, my friend. But I listen. I'm excited to see where it goes. To see where this stuff goes. These movies are they're kind of a relief, right? Like from like the superhero genre, it's like kind of like a nice to get away from it a little bit at times.
Exactly, yeah.
And just kind of like chill out, watch some monsters punch each other real cool. Hopefully get some depth in there, which they did.
Yeah.
Which they are. Keep the story moving forward. And getting better each time. I think with each movie they have gotten better.
I agree.
You know, they've been.
What just happened?
Someone called me.
Oh, okay. I was like, did you guys freeze or something? Okay. So, this is getting good reviews, by the way. I know it's early in the day, but it's got it's getting really good reviews.
I was gonna say, I would like to have on.
At the moment, earlier or today it was 80. Right now it's 81. So it seems to be fluctuating around there, which is pretty high for this type of movie. Usually these movies score in the 60s or 70s if they're good. But the human drama, the human characters, I liked all of them. I liked all the interactions. I genuinely believe the relationship between the little girl and the woman who takes care of her. I was sold.
Yeah.
So me too.
Can you go over what the scores are for each of the other movies?
Yeah, let me do that real quick. Right now, Godzilla vs. Kong is at 81%. I think the best reviewed one was the 2014 one. I could be wrong, but we pull that up.
I mean, that one, if you ask me, had some of the best cinematography.
Yeah, so that one is at 76%. Okay, so that one did get very good reviews. The 2014 one. But the 2019, oh wow, is that recent? King of the Monsters?
Yeah.
That one scored at 42.
Really?
Yeah. Because the action's good, but I felt like the human story, because I've watched it twice. And I still couldn't tell you what happened, you know, with the mom and the dad and Millie Bobby Brown, but I could tell you the story of that first one with Quicksilver and what's her name? Scarlet Witch dating and having kids. Like I remembered that story pretty well.
Yeah.
Let them fight. That first one was really
King
good.
of the Monsters is on the top of my list, really just for the monsters, for the sake of that, and some of those shots they had in that movie. Nothing will top King Ghidorah standing on top of a mountain in a lightning storm. It was cool.
That was pretty cool. That shot was cool.
So cool. Loved it.
What does Skull Island have?
Skull Island. That's the one I was forgetting. So Godzilla 76, that one 42.
Skull Island's gonna be like 80 then.
On Skull Island. Yeah, let me take a look at that. That one's 75. So Kong Skull Island and the original Godzilla, or the 2014 Godzilla, both scored around 75 and 76. Did pretty well. And then King of the Monsters was at 42. This one right now is sitting at 81. So this is technically at the moment, because these reviews changed, the best reviewed one.
Yeah, I would imagine that there were similar numbers at the beginning when everything else came out, right? And then it kind of
probably
after a while, you know.
Yeah,
we saw that with Wonder Woman.
I still find that weird though that Skull Island's not the best reviewed one. I still think it's the best movie out of all of them. But I mean, that's just me personally. I think.
Oh yeah.
But
that movie had style. Like the whole Vietnam thing, it had style.
But the cast was so deep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I missed that.
Tom Hiddleston, John Goodman,
Yeah.
Sam Jackson, and then I thought all
Brie Larson's in it.
did a great job.
Yeah, from a critic standpoint, it should be the highest because of things like that. Because there's actually good actors in it, and there's actually like performances to be talked about. None of the other movies have that.
Speaking of critics, so on Saturday, we're going to be joined by Owen Gleiberman, who is the chief film critic for Variety. So we're going to be doing that live because it's the day before Easter. It's going to be a noon show. Everyone has things to do later on in the day, so it has to be at noon or not at all. So I chose noon. Yeah. So tune in for that on Saturday. It's going to be a really good time. We get to kind of explore the mind of a critic. I know people like to yell at them and you know blame everything on them. So let's talk to one of them and see where it goes. And I think it's going to be a really fun conversation, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Variety's huge, and he's the chief critic. This is he probably has a film background, probably studied film, and it'll be pretty interesting to talk to him.
Right.
I can't wait. I really can't. And then as well, all the descriptions are below. Please join our Patreon program. Become a patron, and get early access to all podcasts, pre-recorded content, yearly gifts, private Discord community, and as many other things as we can possibly think of, like behind the scenes and all that good stuff. I'm always throwing up pictures like Logan or whatever I could possibly do so to keep you guys entertained. So definitely get on there. It's only $5 a month. It definitely helps support the show in a way that goes longer than just a subscribe. We do appreciate that as well, though. But this helps us get to like the HD streams, helps us keep that partnership with Showcase, helps us do all kinds of other things that you wouldn't even expect. So I know all of us here really appreciate it. To the 4 that have done it, that one, Carlos, Odd, Nick DePalma, Caden Reed, you guys are the lifeblood of the Pop Culture Corner. Without you, there is no us. So we do it for you, and we do it for the culture. We have a couple more minutes, guys. So what are your final thoughts?
I'll definitely rewatch. Rewatchability is through the roof.
Definitely.
I don't need to pay attention to this whatsoever. I can literally just put this on and do whatever else I feel like doing. That's if you ask me, that's what makes a movie rewatchable, is whether or not I need to sit there and like focus on it, or if I can just play it in the background. And this is definitely one of those movies I can just throw on and have a good time. And just when I do decide to pay attention to it, I won't be completely lost, and I'll know what's going on. I can still have fun with it. That's it.
I would say, folks, please see this in theaters. If you haven't watched it yet, go see it in the theaters. And even if you haven't seen it and you watch this show, you can still enjoy the crap out of it. It's not like, I ruined it, like it's The Sixth Sense, like, oh, great, well, that scene's ruined for me. The story. You can pretty much piece together the story from the trailers, but it is so well worth watching on the big screen. And I would say it's worth the money. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Definitely. But definitely both what you guys said is definitely worth the money. It's definitely worth getting out to the theater and seeing, with on a large premium format, whatever form that comes in, IMAX, X Plus, or anything, anything that your local theater has. Make sure you do see it that way, because I promise you won't regret it. It is a movie that's definitely jumping off the screen and jumping down your throat. So I enjoyed the large aspect of it. And I definitely, rewatchability is super high, just like Justice just said. But one last thing quickly is Mortal Kombat. So yeah, Mortal Kombat got pushed back a week, but I was speaking to the manager here at Showcase. There's a hard R on this.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like it's not like a 2 F-bomb kind of rated R. This is a hard, gritty rated, like almost to the next level kind of thing. So Mortal Kombat, I mean, it's not going to be like a family-friendly movie.
No, it's nothing but violence. Mortal Kombat is like, you say Mortal Kombat, people think violence.
What was the first one?
Oh, yeah. That was PG-13. That and Street Fighter, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, in the 90s. That's why it was so bad.
That didn't work, right?
And they tried to put a bunch of CGI that they didn't know how to use. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was awful. But it was like they were trying to sell it to kids back then.
Right.
This movie, I don't think they're selling to kids.
Yeah.
Because gamers back then were mostly kids. Gamers now are in their 20s and 30s.
What was the original date for it? April 16th?
Yes.
That's a good question.
That's what it just said when we were in.
They still might not have updated it yet. So it still says April 16th, but I think that's the old one. Now it's been pushed out to April 23rd. So even if you Google it, it will say April 16th. It's going to come out, according to Variety, April 23rd.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I think
that's not bad, right? It's good. They're gonna let Godzilla kind of run its train, and kind of milk it for what it's worth. I mean, we have to remember that movies like this are far and few between. So just the fact that the Snyder Cut and Godzilla came out this close to each other is they were definitely pressed for time and like they needed to figure something out. But it seems like after this little hump right here, once we hit Mortal Kombat, the train starts rolling again.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna be here more often. This is gonna be a really good time. And I look forward to being here for almost every movie.
Yeah, I mean, and once you hit June, July, their movies coming out like one right after each other. It's crazy.
Right. So I mean, guys, what's today? Wednesday. So obviously this is took the place of Quick Dip. Jack will be back tomorrow. It looks like Jack will be back tomorrow for the Daily Show.
Yeah.
While I
Ty's TV Corner.
Do my thing, and then we'll all be back on Saturday for Owen Gleaverman from Variety. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We're gonna put it up on all the podcast platforms as well, so you can listen to it on the go. And as far as like the first time we did this with Wonder Woman, the experience was nice to get back out, but this was such a better day as far as like the movie goes, and I'm really happy.
We had a winter last time. It was Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day, so it's bound to be stressful. It was freezing outside. 84 was terrible. It wasn't fun. The only thing fun about that day was being at Showcase.
Yeah.
All right.
Super clean.
Yeah, super clean. Everybody was super friendly. They gave us a bunch of posters and cups and popcorn buckets and all kinds of stuff. They were super nice and super sweet, and we had a great time with them. Movie.
Oh, and he gave us a gift card.
Oh yeah, they gave us a gift card today. I bought a milkshake with it. I bought some pretzels with it. It was awesome. So they did the same thing here. Super nice, super sweet, great to work with, great to talk to. They really went out of their way to get this TV to work. We had a good time.
Yeah,
we had a really good time.
So guys, get out there and support your local theaters. All right, that's what we got to do right now, because we got to give back to the community and get the spark. Get that spark out there again, because if not, who knows what will happen. And I don't want to live in a world that potentially I can't go see a movie on a Tuesday morning like I normally would. Right.
Yeah.
So pay attention, guys. If your local theater is open, go check it out, because I promise you the chances are they're doing the same thing. Showcase is doing it. They're keeping it safe. They're keeping it clean. They're keeping it distance. Thank you for joining us. We're doing the thing. Godzilla vs. Kong live from Showcase. Baby, pay attention to the channel, like and subscribe if you enjoyed yourself, please and thank you. You know the whole drill. You guys know how YouTube works. You know how social media works. Follow us, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Pay attention. We got some videos in the work, which always constantly trying to bring you fresh, new content on a regular basis to keep you happy and fulfilled. Thank you for joining us. I'm Big Drip.
My name's T.Y.
And I am producer Jack, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we do it for you. Do it for the culture. Holla.
Bye-bye.